Hi everyone, this is video 4, well really 5, in our Doodle Jump clone series. In this video we'll be going over how to make the camera follow our Doodle Jumper. So right now if I hit play, you'll see that he just bounces up and down, and if I go to the side, camera doesn't follow. We could do a very simple camera follow, dropping the camera as a child of the Doodle Jumper. But that's not quite what we want, because then that just follows them forever, and that's not really fun and doesn't really add a lot of power to our game. So I actually started this a little bit before, so let me just remove some stuff. Okay, and so the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to want to go to our Doodle Jumper. And in the player movement script, we want to add something to it to help us out for later. So what we're going to do is we're going to say public float y, and we want to be able to see the y value, the y speed value of our little guy. So we're going to say y equals my rigid body velocity.y. And if I go back, I'm going to see it added to my player movement script. There it goes. And if we hit play, you'll see that it's going from different values, 0 to negative. So when it's positive, it's going up, negative going down. But we really don't want to see this because it's not like something you actually want to adjust, because it doesn't make any sense, because it's constantly changing anyway. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back to our script, and we're going to say, in brackets, hide in inspector. Then when we go back and look at it, and it loads up the script, it should disappear. Great. So now what we want to do is we want to create a camera follow script. And this is a really good camera follow script you can use in almost most 2D games. And I'm going to go ahead and open that. And the thing about this one is going to have a little bit different. So first we're going to make one that you can use almost anywhere, and then we're going to make it a little bit more specific to this game. So what we're going to do is we're going to give it the camera a follow speed, and we want to say what it's going to follow. So we're going to say public object, game object to follow, and we're going to say public float follow speed, and give it a standard value of 10. All right, and in this case, it's really simple. We're just going to want to say vector. We're going to create a new vector 3 and say it's position to follow, and that's equal to a new vector 3. So we're going to create a new object, and that will be the object's object to follow. It doesn't really like this variable. There it goes. Dot position. Dot transform. Dot position. Dot x. Same thing with our y. And then transform dot position dot z. You want to use the same position for the camera. You don't want to change the camera's position. And then we're going to want to say transform, which is the camera's transform, dot position equals vector 3 dot lerp, which linearly interpolates a position between 2 points. So each frame of the animation, it slowly gets closer and closer together. Or in the case, depending on the speed, if it does it very quickly. So first thing we're going to want to say is we want to go between transform.position, so this is the camera's transformed position, and the position of the object, so position to follow. And then we want to say follow speed times time dot delta time. And delta time is basically the time in between each frame. And now, if we go back to camera, add it to camera follow. It's just loading up our scripts, hit enter, and we want to drag the doodle into that spot. And if I hit play, it should follow it. And it doesn't follow it very fast. In fact, it didn't follow it much at all. For some reason. In fact, it was being affected by the, let's see here, transform.position, object to follow, transform.position. Oh, that would be why. It should be Y. And let's hit play again. You can see it falls down and follows it. It's kind of a little janky because of the speed that we gave it. But if we go back to it and say 20 follow speed, it should be pretty tight. Yeah, now it's really tight. A little stutter, but it doesn't matter. We shouldn't be falling that fast. And actually, if we bring it down really slow, it's kind of cool. You'll see the delay. And we could bring it back down to 1. I really like that. And bring it to 50, and it's right on top of it again. So the thing is, though, for Doodle Jump, we don't want it to really go from side to side. It should be a static plane from side to side. It should only follow vertically. So what we want to do is go back to our script, and this is where we're going to make it more like what we want it to be. We're going to get rid of this object.follow and just leave it as the object's transform, the camera's transform.position. And we go back and hit play. And oops, wrong one. I got to do the opposite. We do want the Y value. We want to get rid of object to follows for the X. Hit play. And now it should follow it on the Y value, but not on the X value. And if I go off, yep, perfect. But that's not all we want, because in Doodle Jump, he kind of bounces up, and then once he bounces up, the camera doesn't follow him anymore. And that is where our, let me organize this a little, accessing this Y value on our player is going to really come in handy. So let's get access to that, and we're going to say private dot player movement, and just say player movement in lowercase, and we'll say player movement is equal to object to follow dot get component player movement. And really we should check if it even exists on the object first, but it's fine for now. And now that we have the player movement, what we want to do is create an offset. So we're going to say public, let's bring it next to our other public variables, public float follow offset equals 0 for now, but we're going to change it. And we're going to say if player movement dot y is greater than or equal to the offset, follow offset, then we're going to do this. Otherwise, we won't do it. Otherwise, we won't follow it down. We want to follow it up, but we don't want to follow it down. So let's hit play. And we're going to see our guy bounce up, but not bounce back down. Yep. For some reason it because he's going back up. But eventually those platforms should disappear like Doodle Jump. But basically, if he starts descending, then that's it. All right, and that's the camera movement for now. In the next videos, we'll be working on something else, possibly creating the platform, or possibly object pooling, because we don't want to create a million platforms. It's better to create a finite number of platforms that you simply turn on and off. All right. See you in the next video. Any comments and questions, just put them in the comments.